going on, everybody? Welcome into the Jets Report. I'm your host, Patrick Siepman, and we got a loaded show for you guys today as we got an updated look at the Jets' new quarterback plan heading into the offseason. And then also Garrett Wilson. Contract extension talks are starting to heat up. And we also got buzz that the Jets could be looking to add another wide receiver. But before we dive into all of this, if you guys could help us reach 3,500 subscribers here at the Jets Report. We just need 60 more of you guys to go down there, hit that subscribe button. We'll have a video for you every single day this offseason. So don't miss a thing around your New York Jets and hit that subscribe button today. All right, so coming up on today's show, we're going to dive into a Zach Rosenblatt article that he wrote for The Athletic, pretty much covering everything around the New York Jets. And he headlined his article talking about the quarterback position. And this is what he had to say. He said the sense is that the Jets are going to target the middle-tier quarterback market and go into training camp with a competition between Tyrod Taylor, a veteran free agent, and maybe a rookie draft pick. Put it this way, the Jets signing a veteran won't preclude them from also drafting a quarterback. There's still buzz around the possibility of Justin Fields as a target for the Jets. League sources believe that is the case, though he's expected to garner interest from multiple teams, and the Steelers are believed to prefer keeping him over Russell Wilson. So Fields is an interesting option for the Jets because, I think on twofold. One, he has still, in my opinion, a lot of upside in the National Football League. Now, we've seen guys like Geno, Baker, Sam Darnold go to other organizations, have a resurgence in their career, and Justin Fields could be next up in line. But I also think Fields would offer the Jets just an open chance to still draft a quarterback. Like, if you bring in Fields and let's just say Jackson Dart's there in round 2, you still have the availability to draft Jackson Dart and have him kind of be that young quarterback that works behind the scenes. So I still think Fields likely choice for the New York Jets. But also after the combine, a lot of reporting out there that Shedeur Sanders could not only fall outside the top 5, but actually outside of the whole first round. So I think that leaves the Jets in an interesting spot where, if they're sitting there at pick number 7 and let's just say Shedeur Sanders is available for them, would they choose Shedeur or would they go a guy like Tyler Warren? I would still probably assume they would go BPA in that position, but with Shedeur falling down draft boards, maybe the Jets view him as a likely option, and they could potentially land him at pick number 7. Also, considering if the Raiders do take a quarterback at the 6, or they already have a quarterback and they go BPA at number 6, and Shedeur is there at number 7, I think he could have a likely chance to landing with the New York Jets. But also, Cam Ward. Now, there is a lot of buzz out there that the Jets could be trading up to the number 1 overall pick. They're going all in on Cam Ward, and I just think it's unlikely. Honestly, I think it's a kind of other NFL insiders using the Jets for clicks, where if people see like, oh, the New York Jets are trying to trade up to number 1, they know that article is going to get more clicks, compared to if they said like the Indianapolis Colts are trying to trade up to number 1. But clearly the Jets, they like Cam Ward. We've heard a lot of buzz and just kind of reading the tea leaves that they have him very, very high up on their draft board. So maybe he could be an option, but I think the only chance you have to land Cam Ward is you trading up to number 1, and I think that's unlikely. But Zach was also mentioning some veteran quarterback options. Now, maybe they bring in a guy like Marcus Mariota. I think this is unlikely, though, for the main reason, if you're going to bring in a guy like Mariota, why not just stay with Tyrod Taylor? Because they're in the same tier of quarterback as kind of that solid, bridge starting, high-end backup quarterback, which Mariota is. But, still Tyrod, I think he is on the same level as him. So I would rather just roll with Tyrod than wasting some of your limited free agent spending on Marcus Mariota. But my prediction for the quarterback spot, I think the Jets will sign Justin Fields, but will also be open to drafting a quarterback in the 2025 NFL Draft. I think they're more than comfortable rolling in the training camp with Tyrod Taylor, Justin Fields, and let's just say they do take Jackson Dart in the second round. That would be a solid 3-man group that the Jets would feel more than comfortable rolling out in the training camp with. But also, if you bring in Fields, you don't need to touch the quarterback position in the NFL Draft. You could go Tyler Warren at pick number 7, go BPA in the second and third round, and really build up a solid support system. Then it's maybe next season where the Jets try to go all in. But my early prediction right now, and it can change at any time, is that Justin Fields will be signed by the New York Jets during free agency, and him and Tyrod Taylor will battle it out for QB1. But you guys let me know your thoughts down below. Who will be QB1 for the New York Jets next season? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I'm going Justin Fields right now, but if you guys disagree, chime in down below. All right, let's talk about Garrett Wilson here because we broke down Garrett Wilson last week on the show, but Zach Rosenblatt just furthered on his thoughts on what he's hearing around Garrett Wilson and the New York Jets, saying, "I've heard Wilson is willing to discuss signing a long-term extension with the Jets, and such a conversation would go a long way towards making him feel like the organization values him." Wilson was one of the first calls Glenn made after getting the job, along with cornerback Sauce Gardner. There will be some other big money wide receiver extensions this offseason, namely Jamar Chase with the Bengals, and I'd expect Wilson to push for top 10 wide receiver money, somewhere in the range of 26 to 30 million per season. The Jets are not in a rush to sign him to a new deal, preferring to focus on free agency first. They have Wilson under team control in 25 and 26 via the fifth-year option at $16.82 million dollars, and then can franchise tag him after that. So listen, clearly the Jets are interested in extending Garrett Wilson, and Garrett Wilson is probably feeling like, hey, if I'm heading this next season and we're probably going to be a 7-10 ball club, I want to get paid. I want to get my money that I have earned so far. So what does top 10 wide receiver in the league money look like? Oh, here's the list of the top 10 highest paid wide receivers in the National Football League per year. Now, Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown, Brandon Ayuk, and Amon-Ra St. Brown all got their deals last season, getting $30+ million per year. But then you got like the second tier guys like the Jalen Waddles, Devontae Adams, DJ Moore, Cooper Kupp. Those guys, I think Wilson will get more than that. I think his, asking price probably starts at $30 million. But, if you're hesitant on paying Garrett Wilson, I would just say this. It never hurts to pay blue chip players early. Like, I think Garrett Wilson is that. I think he is a mid wide receiver one in the National Football League, borderline, top 7, top 8 wide receiver in the whole league. And if you would pay him early on that $30 million per year, and then you look up and you're like, oh, Jamar Chase is getting 40, Jefferson's getting 35, you could get Garrett Wilson for a bargain because, his production over the last 3 seasons, it's been great with having poor quarterback play. There's no doubt about it. But I don't really think Garrett Wilson could go to the Jets front office and say, hey, I deserve $35-40 million when the most yards he's had in a year was this past season at 1,104. He's never had a year over 1,200 yards, but still very productive. He passes the eye test. I still think he's a top 8-ish wide receiver in the National Football League. So I would pay him $30 million per year. And if I were the Jets, I would try to get this done ASAP because that wide receiver market, it's going to continue the rise. So pay these guys early, and maybe you could get a bargain deal down the line. But you guys decide for me. Would you pay Garrett Wilson $30 million per year? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no down below. Now we got some wide receiver rumors floating around the New York Jets as apparently Zach Rosenblatt is saying that the Jets are interested in Tim Patrick and Josh Palmer. Now, Tim Patrick was with the Detroit Lions this past season. Josh Palmer with the Los Angeles Chargers. And here's how their production looked. Now, Tim Patrick, he was just kind of a rotational guy. He would fill in for that wide receiver 3 spot, going back and forth with him and Reynolds over there in Detroit. But he was still very productive, just under 400 yards, had those 3 touchdowns. I think all 3 of those came in a 2-week span. But Josh Palmer, he had to step in multiple times for the Chargers with Quentin Johnson going down due to the injury. And he was pretty solid in the production category, 65 targets on the year, just under 600 yards. But I actually think Tim Patrick, he would be a great stopgap at the wide receiver 2 position for the Jets because, technically I think Malachi Corley would be, the wide receiver 2. He would be getting the second most targets, but he's such a gadget guy. He could play in the slot. You could line him up in the backfield. I think Tim Patrick would run kind of that Y wide receiver role, Garrett Wilson running the X, and then Malachi Corley kind of being your everything weapon on that side of the football. But, Tim Patrick, I think it'd be a great stopgap as just a wide receiver 2, understands Tanner Engstrad's system. He can step in, knows what routes he wants to run, knows, very, very comfortable with that playbook that he's going to be bringing in. So, Jets are going to have to make a move, add another wide receiver eventually, but Tim Patrick wouldn't be a bad option. And then you could also go a guy like Tyler Warren at pick number 7, have Tim Patrick, Corley, Wilson be your 3 wide receivers, and you still got the 2 good running backs in the backfield. That would be a pretty elite support system, in my opinion, for the New York Jets. But you guys let me know. What is the biggest position of need for the Jets? Comment your thoughts down below in the comment section right now. Another friendly reminder to hit that subscribe button. Help us reach 3,500 subs here on the channel. See you guys next time. As always, go Jets.